Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and today I'm going to be talking about the Cursed Heart Book 2 review. It's been a while, and I know Cursed Heart Book 2 came out around last year. Um, I don't exactly remember when, but for us non VIPs, it came out a lot later. So I didn't really get a chance to read it for some personal reason until this last week, and I had read like until two and a half chapter of that book, and then I went on to read the rest of the chapters, and I sort of binge read, and oh my goodness! Now that I'm done reading it, I'm like, why the heck I waited this long? I could have experienced a literary masterpiece a long ago. And I'm going to say something which may sound like really um, controversial, but that will up the ante. That is, I think this book is even better than Blades 2. Like, in terms of sequel, I think this is the best second book or book 2 we have in 3 years. But I don't know when was the last time when we were so excited about a book 2 and it actually delivered. But also in the hindsight, I don't think a lot of people really were hoping to get much out of the Cursed Heart book 2. And just like book 1, very less expectations. And just when you expect less, this book delivers. That is the Cursed Heart. We know what happens at the end of last book. It was basically about restoring Kieran's heart and breaking the curse cast by Lustre, and basically defeating the Sun Court mongrels. But this book, as it was suggested at the end of the last book, that will deal with both the courts, because someone, they call themselves the Eclipse, they want to basically burn both the courts. So we meet this guy named Jack, who we suppose is a mortal, and he has an army of half fae and human and mortals who are going to take over the Fae realm according to them. So when I for very first time saw the attack, like with his iron sword craving a path to, or basically creating a hole for his army to enter inside the Moon Palace, and I know, like, wait, choices are revealing their villain this early. I mean, yeah, I we knew like Radiance was up to something, or Lustre was the bad guy from the beginning, from the get go in the last book, almost. But this was like, okay, this is Jack, and you have to defeat him. Like, yeah, all right. So, and then the strategy we used to fight the eclipse in the first chapter, we tell the phase that use your magic on the ground, not on them, because they are protected. So I think this is a really interesting thing that happened, because that also shows that how valuable and perceptive our main character is. They're mortal, but still they're helping Faye fight when they're up against their biggest nemesis and odds. So that's about that. But also, I'll talk about something that is from the last book. We knew that Kieran was gonna live for an eternity. Well, whatever eternity is for us mortals, like literally, I'm a mortal too. But like, whatever a lifetime is for a mortal. But the thing that Kieran always was fearful, and well, I chose a female Kieran, so I'm just gonna stick with this pronoun. That she was fretful of us. She was trying to protect us so bad. And this was one thing. And the other thing, she was also wondering if we could be immortal, and how it would feel like not living with us for the rest of her eternity after we die. So this book also covers that portion. How, I'll come to that in a sec. But also this book deals with quite well with mortality and immortality. Like, really a really cool perceptive book. I just want to say this out there. Two things. First is that mortality is, I think, in a new way they have showed it. Like, death comes to us all, we know. But sometimes things we do, they're meaningful because of the death. And I think this book really goes deep into that, and that's why I think it's one of the unique choices book to have done that. Blades 2 also shed some light on death and stuff, but this, in terms of this substance and plot twist, I think is one of the best books, and I'm clapping right now, and you can probably tell why. Anyway, so that thing that mortality gives us the perspective. This is one of the best thing I think that has come out of this. The second thing of this book that I've learned is that justice, how we want to fight it, like you want to have that, but in the search of justice sometimes you can get really, I don't know, like you can you can be doing injustice to the same people that you once were, or to innocent people, and that is Jack. So who is Jack? Jack is a guy we learn is actually half brother of Kieran. So Aisha, who is Kieran's mother, um, she was from the Sun Court, and she fell in love with a mortal who was Jack's father, and she had a baby. And in Fair Realm, we already know this if you have read Nightbound, that Fays don't really care whether you're having multiple relationships and stuff like that. It just matters when you actually vow to someone and then your husband and wife. But they don't really look kindly to mortal and fey sort of links. So they call them changelings, I believe. And Kieran's mother, Aisha, she was ordered to kill the baby, but she doesn't. She leaves the baby at the dad's doorstep. There he grows up, and when he grows up, he grows antlers also. No matter how many times he cut it, they keep growing back up. So both the worlds rejected Jack. The Fates, of course, rejected him and saw him as a disgrace and a little mongrel thing, just like they saw us, like lustrous Caesars. And the humans were afraid and wanted to kill him. So he felt betrayed. And even Sir Monty knew about all this. He was requested to take him back to the moon court, but he didn't, probably because it would jeopardize Aisha's reputation, because Aisha fell in love with a moon court king and had Kiran as their baby. So that's something, I don't know, say whatever you want about Aisha, but long lifetime, again, it's hard to justify this from our perspective, where we have like at most 80 years to live with a loved one, and even then, like, most of them die. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying, but so that is Jack's perspective. And there is this Opulence character you get to know. Who is he? Opulence, the businessman. He wanted to marry Kieran. He courted her, but she refused her, like all other nobles, because while Opulence is like an influential person, he wasn't born in royalty. So he wants a position crown for himself. And we later learned that Opulence, he was actually working with Jack, and Jack promised him some rank if he helps him defeat the courts. So what Jack's plan is that there are two sources, moon source and the sun source. So he wants to get the sources in a lantern and place the king of all Fae on top of it, and basically that would give immortality to him. That is what we believe. And this has a lot of layers. And one of the layers, Longclaw, one of our beloved character. We see her here. Sir Monty, who dies and we grieve him. And we also see different layers to Sir Monty. On top of that, Radiance, I don't think that was possible. So after the attack on Sun Palace, we wanted to get the help of Radiance and Lustre. Both their uncles die, and then we get to reach out to Radiance when there was another curse. So Longclaw, to save themselves when the Sun Court was under attack, we of course flee with Kiran. Longclaw had to take the berries, cursed berries that Radiance used to curse her, to give her the bear form. And that turned Longclaw into a real, like an animal bear without any power to say stuff. And that turned Radiance and Lustre into, I don't know, rats like they are. That was funny. But we reach out to Radiance, and we also see later on during the fight Radiance sacrificing her life for Longclaw, and Longclaw was weeping. That was exciting. And then Lustre. I think that was an exciting thing. We also forgive Lustre because of the war. And Longclaw's actual form, like how she should look like as a human being, also saw that. That was something exciting. And Opulence, this character who is a businessman, and we get to irritate him at his parties. And I saw Opulence as an opportunist, and that's what he turned out to be. He was helping Jack, but when he saw the opportunity, Jack attacked both the courts. Finally, the Moon Court got the sources, and he was about to place the lantern on the All Crown of Fae, but Opulence stole it and took all the power for himself, draining all the Faes of their powers and leaving them to be mortal again. So that was an exciting spin, and I screamed, "Look, I knew this." That come on, Jack is not the villain because he's the half brother of Kieran. Then we team up with Jack and Nick, his mortal father. We see him, and the fact that Jack was not taking this immortality thing to for himself, but he wanted to help his dying dad. That was like wow. And also, when we try to get the power for ourselves to be immortal to defend Kieran, we become immortal for a moment, but we lost our heart. And I think this does a poetic justice. That last book, it was Kieran's scars that made her lose her heart, but in this book, we lost our heart for a chapter, and Kieran's love reached through us, and we got the heart back. And also the mortality aspect, I think, lots of the books focus on hookup and stuff, but there was hookups in this book also, all right. But the scene on the rooftop where we talk about mortality when Kieran was immortal, and how this gives us perspective, and how Kieran will have us for a lifetime, then undead of us for an eternity. That really gives perspective. And even the end message that I just want to say right now, that be kind when you can, because you don't know what is waiting for you in the woods. Like, oh my god. And the artwork was amazing. Kieran's beast form fighting with Jack's beast form, and all the light works and all the stuff. And finally, Opulence, how we beat his smug face in the wedding, and our cleverness, because face can't lie, but when Opulence stole the power, everybody became mortal, all the face. So Kieran could lie, and we used it. That was really clever. That was a mortal strength. And overall, like Merlin, our new bat pet, if you take him, and of course our little cute adorable, all hail will break loose if you don't salute our king of birds, Leaf. It was a pleasure to see Leaf whenever we could, and Merlin is as cute as Leaf. And then you talk about Longclaw, you talk about Sir Monty, you talk about all the characters we saw, and on top of Salma and Sylvia, our two honorable friends back in Moon Court. And Kieran, lots of endless time with Kieran. It's like overall, it's a lot of things that happen in the book. I might do some additional videos, like I don't know, like a character analysis or some other stuff with this book. But Opulence, we finally captivate him, and kindness, this is the message of this book. And Jack wanted justice for himself, but in the way his Eclipse army wreaked havoc, people died on either side, and he himself thinks at the end that his search for justice sometimes made him do injustice to people who didn't deserve it. And even though Sir Monty died, he died a death in the war, in the duel. So that was what it was, and he knew the secret, but he still kept it. So take it how you like it, but I think this book is a book where characters, most of them except for Kieran, our main character, are not perfect or not ideal, but just they're not black or white, but they are who they are. So, and we don't condemn them. I mean, of course we condemn them, but we don't condemn them to an eternal death or something. We don't kill Opulence. We just captivate him, and last year we make them go. So we let them go and make them free. And the thing that when we were struck by this curse, immortality curse. He wanted to kill everyone who wreaked havoc. And that was not us. We're the kinder version. Kieran, we helped her to see the point of view of a mortal. And the way throughout the book, as a love interest, Kieran grew from overprotective princess to someone who understands us, understands our pain, sees us as her equal, and even more. So that growth, so from a fae to someone who even distributed the power, gave up the crown, abolished the system, and saw the mortal perspective. I think this is a great book, and Kieran could be one of the best single love interests in the history of choices, where she understands stuff, where she grows, where she sees the point of view, where she has her fears, has her reasons, has her unique way, but she learns and becomes the best version of herself. Longclaw, the best character, the kindest heart of all realms, and this our main character. I think this is a book where Radiance is sacrificed, even when once she cursed her sister, that sister she saves by taking the toll and dying for her sister. I think this is one of the kind of a book, Cursed Heart. Let me know, guys, your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. There's a lot of things to say about this book, but I think it's really hard to like put in the words of whatever happened. But oh my god, when I finished the book, I was reeling from it, and that hasn't happened in the past few books that I've finished. Like whether it's Alpha or any other book, Crimes of Passion, they've been good, but this is top notch. Reminded me of when I started playing choices 19 20 2020, I mean. So or even last, I believe it was probably Wake the Dead. But anyway, excuse me, the thing is that this has been Cursed Heart. I'm so excited about this. It was one heck of a book. I love it, Cursed Heart 2, and I think it's even better than Blades 2 and most of the books I've read in the last 3-4 years from 2020. Save Blades 1 and all the books that released in the early half of 2020. But anyway, I don't want to get to the comparing game. Just it was my opinion. But the thing is that Cursed Heart 2, absolute best. Let me know, guys, your thoughts and opinion in the comments below. And I love this book. Love it. I cannot stress it. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace out. And yeah, I have the It Lives Within plan, the fan-made It Lives series. I'll be coming out with it in 2 days. See ya.